Panthers lost to the Bengals over the weekend, and I have to admit I'm torn. I'm being ripped to shreds because at least it was close is a super legitimate thought. And it's okay. If you're a fan and you've been with the Panthers for a long time and there just aren't that many games where you're competitive against a good team, at least it was close is completely fair. But I also want to empower the opposite side, which is mad about that game. Right? There's no correct way, quote unquote correct way, to think about that game. I'm somebody that says on the air all the time, I don't believe in moral victories. Right? If you're keeping score, there's only one kind of victory, and it's the one who wins the whole thing. But at the same time, if your expectations were appropriate, being in that game at the end is not something that was 100% guaranteed. Right? There's versions of that game where you get boat raced, and you didn't let it happen. So here's. That's why I'm torn. I understand the idea behind at least it was close. At least, and I like it, and I hear it, and I'm with you. But there were a handful of plays that I would have expected even the bad version of the Panthers to make, and if they make those plays, you might win that game. You have to catch the fake punt. Have to. You get two hands and a beat. Right, like a two hands, and it wasn't a bang bang play on a play that's that important, and your coach takes that chance. You have to make that catch, and that's for like this good version of the Panthers over the last 2 weeks. I'd be just as bummed if that happened in week 1, with the bad version of the Panthers where nothing was going right. You have to tackle Ja'Marr Chase when you have the chance. I'm fine with Ja'Marr Chase making the catch. Yeah, I understand Ja'Marr Chase and Joe Burrow are really good players, and they came in recklessly motivated because they were down 0-3, and you weren't going to hold Ja'Marr Chase to 0 catches on 10 targets for no yards, maybe a catch that he fumbles and you recover. Like, you weren't going to do that. But once he makes the catch and you have 2 or 3 guys that have a chance to get him on the ground, you have to. And again, that's last year's Panthers or this week's Panthers. When you, on the opening drive, I seriously was Dennis, you're always talking about drinking the Kool-Aid. Mm-hmm. If Andy Dalton led a drive where they scored on the opening drive again, and it looked like it was going to be as easy as it was last week, I was looking for some Kool-Aid, to some blue Kool-Aid Panthers colors.
Oh, yeah. I mean, they were literally 6 inches away.
You have to get that. You first and goal from the 2, you have to get that in the end zone.
Got to punch it.
And I want to make sure at least it was close doesn't escape accountability for those plays. Because at least it was close means like you change 2 of those 3 things I mentioned, and there's many more. You change 2 of those 3, you win the game. You win the game.
Nick Scott makes a tackle at the end of the first half.
You
at
win
like
the
3-yard line.
You win the game.
You're going into the locker room tied as opposed to down 7.
Deontay Johnson makes one of the catches, which would have been impressive, but down the left sideline, the touchdown in the right corner. Mm-hmm. Mingo makes the catch. Who knows? There's so many of these, and I'm going like, part of me is pleased that it was competitive. Part of me is also furious that it was competitive despite all these little things. If the Panthers just played well, and they didn't have the talent to keep up with their opponent, and they lost by 10, then at least it was close would be 100% the side I'm on. If they just played well and were in it at the end, and the other team was just bigger, faster, stronger, more talented, or whatever it is, okay, you know what? At least it's close. That's progress. But when it's close and you have just rapid recall, front part of your memory, like 10 things that even a bad team does well or does enough of, right? That if they would have changed, you win the game. And then you're 2-2. And then Andy Dalton's 2-0. And then it's part of me is happy that it was close. Part of me is furious that it was close and they didn't do enough of the little things to win. Dave Canales today spoke to the media and talked about the missed opportunities.
As a group, we're just sick about some of the opportunities lost in this game, offensively, defensively, special teams wise. When you play a good team in the NFL and you have an opportunity to go really drive for drive to work ourselves back into a one-score game. We look at the opening drive, the interception, putting them into a favorable position for a score. When you look at the fake punt, just like some of the opportunities that we threw down the field, all these close things, it just kind of leaves you with this sick feeling of like what this game could have been.
I'm okay if fans are there. I'm not like when expectations got a little crazy after week 3. When they were, I was a little frustrated with some fan bases that were, talking about winning divisions and playoffs. And after one game, week 3, I was going, how are you there already? It was one game. How people are looking to give Andy Dalton a multi-year extension. I'm going, how are you there already? It was one game. I'm not nearly to that level of fed up with either side of this. At least it was close. I get how you're there. I'm furious because so many little things could have been cleaned up and you win that game. I'm fine with that too. And by the way, that's a sign of improvement for the Panthers.
Oh, yeah.
That you can be in a game and some people are not just pleased that their day wasn't over 6 minutes into the first quarter. That's a good day for the Panthers. Very good day. The Panthers just need to again, eliminate all the stuff they did when they were bad. The good stuff, keep that. Eliminate the bad. Is it that easy? It may be more difficult than that.